So hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Assetto Corsa Competizione video, and welcome to the Ferrari, the 296. Here we are at Spa, ready to have a look at this new setup that I've been working on for a number of days, maybe even a week. So yeah, when you come to look at these setups, I spend a lot of time working on these setups. I try them in the online lobbies. I try them in some of the XCL servers, and obviously I spend a lot of time testing them. Looking at the Ferrari, it's definitely a car that I've really got to enjoy driving. It just feels so natural with the driving style that I've got. So it is a real pleasure to drive this car and set it up, and especially here at Spa. I've had a number of good races with the setup that I'm currently using, and some little tweaks to the setup. Obviously, as the fuel load reduces, say if you're starting with 60 litres of fuel, just running a little bit wide there. Obviously, when you start with 60 litres of fuel and then the fuel starts to come off, the whole characteristics of the car does seem to change quite a bit. Obviously, as the tyres start to wear as well. I have moved from adding a little bit more to the rear wing, maybe a few subtle changes throughout the setup just to give it more stability as conditions change, and it just brings more confidence, and you can start being more consistently into those 217s. Obviously, if you bang in a beautiful lap, I don't doubt that this car is capable of a 216. I've had a 216.8 with this car. At a fairly low, I think 25 Celsius track conditions, and it was just a perfect lap. If you manage to hit that, brilliant. If not, you're in the 217s quite regularly. So we're going to come up. I'll just bring you to the garage. We'll look at the timetable. The 2 laps, obviously 2 out laps, and then I've got 2 flying laps that I was pretty happy with. They weren't the best of laps, but obviously we can see we've got a fairly low track temperature, but everyone runs these lower track temperatures to try and show off how quick their setup is. But predominantly in lobbies, I'm in the 217s, 217.5, 217.8, which is pretty competitive when it comes to racing online. So we'll have a quick look over the setup. Obviously running this meta setup with the max tow at the front. I have dialed this down and tried it at 3, works pretty well just the same, but just for argument's sake, I'll just show you what I've run. It's probably the only circuit that I've come across really where you seem to run very similar tyre pressures throughout the whole all 4 tyres. But you can change these, but it really is small changes. The tyre pressures do change quite a lot throughout the whole circuit. But one thing I would definitely try to urge you towards is maybe more overinflation on the tyre. Maybe look towards 27.2, 27.3 with the tyre, maybe after 4 or 5 laps. Because after the tyres start to go away a little bit, the tyre pressures do tend to drop quite a bit. And so you might be early in the 27.2s, 27.3s, but maybe as you've ran maybe 6 or 7 laps, they will drop into a perfect sweet spot of around 27, 26.8. On the traction control, again, something that I've tried to come away from with this setup is jumping between traction control 1 and 9, and I've gone with 6 throughout the entire lap. But I do find it more beneficial to drop to TC1 as you come out of the bus stop, just to get good acceleration, and after turn 1. They're the only 2 places that I will change the traction control if I feel like I want to do it. But predominantly you could run still a 27.18, 217.8 throughout the whole lap, just sticking with 6 on the traction control. 16 litres of fuel gets you 2 out laps, 2 flying laps, and that's about it really. You could maybe put 18 litres of fuel in, you could get 3 flying laps. Obviously we're trying to get as much mechanical grip as we can from the car, so the suspension is as soft as it goes all around. Anti-roll bar just to try and get as much grip from the rear of the car. The rear of the car does have a tendency to slide a little bit, and by introducing a stiffer front end on the anti-roll bar, it just softens out the rear of the car to try and get a little bit more grip. Again, preferences, I do prefer to run 16. It just feels like I can be more accurate with the steering wheel on 16. And the brake balance, you could start to run this at maybe 55, but as the rear tyres start to give up a little bit of grip, you might want to just increase that to 56 just to stop the rear end from over rotating on corner entry. Again, with the rear of the car, you might also find that increasing the preload up to maybe 80 just reduces some of that off throttle oversteer mid-corner, especially as you come through Pouon and you come through the right and left handers. Sometimes the car has a tendency to oversteer a little bit on corner entry. By just lifting that preload a little bit, it could help. I might even have a quick look at another setup that I've got within this Ferrari setups. Just it might be just a little something, but yeah, that's what I'm running. Rear wing, 8 on the rear wing, and it is quite a lot for Spa, but it does offer more stability through the rear of the car, and I'm more about being consistent throughout a number of laps rather than just doing one fast lap. So I'll just quickly load up. I've got a number of settings here, and I think they've all been done on the same day, but this was much later in the day during a much warmer race. So I just want to quickly look and see if I've made any other adjustments in here that might sway us towards something else. So no, I haven't. But I would like to add that might give a little bit more stability. Just running 80 on the preload. So let me just load in that first one. And I'm just going to put that up to 80 while we go out and do a few laps. Now, one thing I wanted to emphasize in this video is traction control. And we'll just jump in the car, and I would suggest, if you don't know how to use the traction control and you see loads of guys running TC2, TC1, for me, TC1 and TC2, you are really having to be very progressive on your acceleration. Really need to think about how much power you're putting down on the exit to the corners. TC6, I can kind of get away with feeding in some of the power, but TC9, you're going to be able to just plant that power and just accelerate out, but it's going to limit how much acceleration you have off the corners. So I'm just gonna run a couple of laps with TC9 just to show you what difference you could be looking at. And this might give you a little bit of an understanding as to why you're losing a little bit of lap time. Just try and get some temperature in these tyres. Just checking something there. So there's a lot of rotation goes on through that corner. Trying to hold second gear, you might find you need to come down to first gear as you lose the grip from the rear of the car. And just try and build your lap. Don't try and go absolutely flat out from lap 1. You feel the car rotate into that corner and then you can get back on the power. Obviously we've not got full grip at the minute. And as you come off the the brake pedal there, you'll just feel the car rotate that tiny bit more. And then flat out, clipping some of that inside curb, and obviously you run wide there. Obviously we haven't got full grip from the front of the car just yet. And again, with the traction control, the lower the traction control number, the more rotation you're going to get from the car as well. Rear of the car does squirm around quite a bit in the Ferrari. So you can hear the traction control kicking in there as you come off the corner. Fully planted to the floor. And you'll almost actually be able to see with the previous laps that I've set already into the low 217s. Still not got all that grip available just yet, but you can see just how much down we are on that delta because we're running traction control 9. We're not getting a rotation from the car either. But we can get eager on the power. But we're just not getting the drive off the corners. You can see that's where we're losing the lap time. So an early shift up to 4th gear. It's almost a good exercise just to see the lap delta that we're losing. But you can also see where I'm earlier on the power, we are actually gaining a little bit of time through the initial acceleration, but we're losing lap time on full acceleration, so we're losing, like, as you can see there, maybe 7/10. Loads of time lost off that corner for under acceleration. So switching to TC1 then off the acceleration now. Back to TC6. Braking just at these curbs. Picking up this inside curb. See all the rotation on the accelerator pedal. Oh. We're going to run a little bit wide. So you can see it's not going to be given to you a 217. But you might want to trying to think of the word now, experiment with using traction control 9 and traction control 6. Squirming off that corner. Let's try TC6 for this whole lap. So good acceleration off the corner. Really comfortable through our routes, absolutely flat out, no dramas whatsoever. Nice early shift. Had to have a little lift through there. Oh, running wide. See what we can do in the braking zone. And across the line, 2:17, and we haven't got enough fuel to run another lap. But yeah, there's the video, there's the setup. It is capable of definitely being competitive within the lobbies. I really have enjoyed driving the Ferrari. I guess there are a number of areas where it is a little bit slower than the McLaren. Definitely down the back straight if you're wanting to try and run less rear wing. That's probably where we're losing out, but I think when you come to race this within an actual race and you can be consistently hitting 2:17s, it does feel pretty good when you start pulling away from other drivers, and you've got that confidence throughout the entire lap that you've got the rear end of the car stable and you're able to just continually bang in those decent lap times. So let me know how you get on with the setup. Please do leave a comment in the comment section, push that subscribe button, you know how to do everything else. Until next time, ciao for now.